So what I'm going to do next is add in our holes, and then I'll add the fillets afterwards. So I made mention of that over here when I was going through the tree. I made the fillets and I noticed it, and I was like, yeah, usually I put those at the end. The reason we usually do this is that you frequently have a lot of edges that you round over. Things in real life are not sharp. So if I wanted to make this look a little bit more realistic, or if I was sending it to a 3D printer and it was a very sharp edge, maybe it wouldn't be so good. So you round over stuff. And because a part, of a certain complexity is going to have a lot of different edges, you might end up with a lot of different fillets. And rather than have a pad and then a fillet and then a pocket and then a couple fillets and then something else and some fillets, it's a very common protocol to keep all your fillets towards the end as much as possible. So that's what I'm going to do. So the first thing is, how about we put a hole on the side? So how are we going to put a hole through here? I could quickly just go here, pick on this, go to Sketcher, draw a hole, and pocket it through everything. Now, it's probably fine, and I have almost no argument on you doing that. But then again, you could also do it on this face right here, and you could pocket up this way, and you could pocket up that way. You could put it over here. What I like to do is symmetry again. So I'm going to pick this and I'm going to go into Sketcher. And then I'm going to draw a circle here, and I'm going to extrude it both directions through, pocket it. So if I look at my drawing here, you can't see it. It's over on, if you went to McMaster Car on this item number, there's another section where it shows the bolt that goes through here. It's a 3/4 of an inch bolt. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and add a 3/4 of an inch hole. I'm not worrying about tolerance issues, as in this thing, the hole maybe might need to be a little bit bigger or smaller. I'm not worried about that right now. It's 3/4 of an inch hole bolt, so we're going with 3/4 of an inch hole. This right here, I want to flip this over that direction. So I got vertical up, horizontal to the right. I'll click on the background, and now I need to draw my circle. In order to draw the circle though, well, here's the thing. You could go over here and I could draw a circle. And then what I could do is bring this over and get this in the center somehow or another, right? Or I could get a center point first and I could draw this over the top. So let me show you what I mean. This one right here, I want it right in the center of this circle. Remember how this got made? This shape right here? We had a construction circle, and then we, drew the lines down here and ran around like so. Well, this actually has a center here. But it's not accessible to me right now. So what I want to do is I can pick either one of these here, because it's concentric. I can pick this and I project it. So here we are doing projections again. I can project this forward, and if I click in the background, you see it's yellow, but it's a solid line. So that's a standard element. I don't want a standard element because that will mess up when I try to pocket it. So I want it to be a construction element. So I turn it on, so it's a dash, it's a guideline. Okay, what else do I have here? Well, somewhere in the middle of this, let me grab a different circle here so you can see. As I move over this, there's the center line, but right there, do you see that? There is a point. That's the center point of that arc. I could get a hold of this right there. It's kind of hard to find, isn't it? And I could click and I could drag this out, and now I have my coincidence right there. It's stuck to it, you see? And that's actually a concentricity right there, because it's actually telling me that, yes, I see that that's concentric with that. So that's a way to do it. Let me undo that, Control Z a couple times. And then another way I could do it is I could have a pre-existing one like this, and I could just make a concentricity. So I could click here, I could pick this edge. You don't pick the center, you pick the edge, and then I pick that yellow edge right there. It has a distance, but you right click, and now remember before when we've done some right clicking and it just said maybe tangency or something? It is aware of the two objects that you picked, and so it gives you more options depending upon what those things are. So I want to say it's concentric, so I click that, and it puts it right in the center. I think that that's probably a little bit easier. So I'm going to go with that, and then I'm going to dimension this to 3/4 of an inch. So 3/4 of an inch is 0.75, but if you didn't know that, like if we had 47/64 or something, I could just go 3 divided by 4 and let it do the math for me, and I get 0.75, you see? So keep that all in mind. Now I'll exit out of Sketcher, and we see that we have our circle right there in the center, and I'll hit Pocket, and it's going to go one direction, but I have a second limit as well. So we haven't used this one before. I've got first and second limit. It's going out a certain amount. It's going out 1.125. I could tell it to go out 2, but remember this from a long time ago that this is not the way to do this. You always want to use, whenever possible, you want to use the smartest one here. So I could say up to last, or up to next, or up to plane. So I'm going to say up to last, and it's going to go all the way through that part there. Now, what about the other side there? Well, you might have thought that we have our symmetry options for this, but in this case, we have to use the up to last for the other direction, and it will go all the way through that way as well. So hit OK, and then we get our holes. So that's how we do that. I build things off of the center whenever possible, because center always seems to be the smarter move in case something else changes down the road, as I've been saying quite frequently. So the next one to do is this one up here. So I can, in this case, pick this face, go into Sketcher. And now here's a tricky thing. This happens to be right smack in the center. And here, let's go ahead and click here. That was the right axis system. So I can put it right in the center, and I will. It works okay. But just know that sometimes when you pick an object and to go into Sketcher, you don't always end up with the sketch axes right smack in the center of the object. It was here because I designed this symmetrically and all the things I've been saying. Sometimes what's even worse is it's slightly off and you don't realize it. So just know that if you actually need it in center, then all of a sudden we start doing more projections and construction lines, because I might project these edges. I could draw an X across here, and then I could add a point to the center. So keep it all in mind. So for this case, I'm going to hit a circle. I'll snap it right to the center right there. Click, bring this out. And how much are we going to do with this one? Well, this one here, there's no dimension on this, so I'm going to make it a half an inch. So I click Y. Why half an inch? Well, I was looking at this piece here. Again, no dimension. But if I look at this and I look at this right here, they kind of look like they're about the same. This it might be an illusion, but it looked like it's about the same. So I went with half an inch. Exit out, and then pocket that up to last. Now let me mention something here. You might be zoomed in here, you know, on a part like this, let's say, and you go, oh yeah, up to last, boom, and you hit OK. But what you don't notice is if there was another piece down here crossing this, that hole would go all the way through. It'd be empty air for a bit, but then it would go right through whatever was maybe hanging out down here. So I thought I would just show you really quick that if you wanted to make sure that it didn't go, you know, all the way through something else that was down here, you could use up to next. I don't use that one so frequently, but what I do use is up to plane or up to surface. In this case, that right here is perfectly flat, so that's a plane. So I'll say up to plane, and then I'll pick that, and it will only go up to that plane right there. And if there was something down here, it wouldn't go through it. So just a little bit different way to use the tool. So that's it for our holes. I think I'll go ahead and do the fillets, because that'll make a pretty darn short video if I separate those out. So our fillets, we're going to put one right here and right over here first. And this is a guess because there's nothing on there that tells me what it is. So I think 0.1 looks pretty all right. So I'm looking at this little shape there. So I got that fillet in there, maybe actually a little bit more, and then I want to round these corners off as well. And then we're done. I'll hit this, and now see this, there's no propagation, so I have to pick that, I have to pick that, then I have to roll this around, and I have to pick that, and I have to pick that one right there. And 0.1, how about 0.25? That looks kind of okay. I don't know if that was there before. That might be too much, but you see where I'm going with this. Yeah, maybe we'll change that a little bit. Okay. 0.2. Yeah, Good enough. So, like I said, it's just cosmetic, and you could go through here and fiddle around with it a little bit more. I think maybe on the other ones, I probably put another fillet here because it kind of would be bent. But again, that part's just cosmetic, so I'll let you play around with that as you like. And as always, if you want to come over here and change the color, definitely do that. I'll just make it yellow just because, and we'll call that done. Okay, so that is the pulley case complete. So save this one, and then the next one we'll go after is probably going to be maybe we'll model that upper piece here, or the nuts and bolts.